Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. The sun is up, the coffee is brewing, and everything looks normal. There are no air raid sirens, no distant explosions, no soldiers marching down the street.
But turn on the news and the story changes. Hospitals are suddenly at 200% capacity. Supply chains are snapping because half the truck drivers are sick. Flights are grounded. The government is issuing these vague, terrified statements using words like unusual biological event or under investigation.
Exactly. No one knows what happened. And that, terrifyingly enough, is the whole point.
It is. Today we aren't talking about nuclear war or tank battles. We're talking about something much quieter and arguably much more dangerous. We're talking about biotechnology warfare.
And just to be clear for everyone listening, this isn't science fiction. We aren't talking about zombie movies.
Not at all. We are talking about real science, real geopolitical incentives, and a type of warfare that doesn't need an army to win.
That's the part that really stuck with me when I was looking into this. The idea that the weapons of the future won't explode, they'll spread. But let's back up a second. When people hear bioweapons, they usually think of the Cold War, right? Anthrax in an envelope, or secret Soviet stockpiles of smallpox.
Right, the dirty bomb approach. That's the old way of thinking. That was about brute force. Modern biotech warfare is completely different. It's moved from crude biology to precision engineering. We're talking about genetic manipulation, synthetic biology, and precision targeting.
So it's not just finding a nasty bug in the jungle and releasing it?
No, it's about taking biology and editing it. And here's the core problem, the thing that keeps intelligence agencies up at night: dual-use research.
Dual use?
It means the exact same technology used to cure cancer or develop a new vaccine is the same technology required to create a pathogen. The research lives in the same labs. The equipment is identical.
That's unsettling. So, a lab that is saving lives in the morning could theoretically be working to destabilize a society in the afternoon?
Theoretically, yes. And that brings us to the economics of this, which I think is the biggest game changer. Think about traditional war. If you want to project power globally, what do you need?
Money, lots of it. Aircraft carriers, fighter jets, missiles. You need an industrial base.
Exactly. An aircraft carrier costs billions. A fighter jet program costs hundreds of billions. Traditional war is a rich man's game, but biotech? It breaks that rule. It doesn't scale with money. It scales with knowledge.
So you don't need a massive military budget?
You need a small team of PhDs, some modest funding, and civilian-grade infrastructure. That's it. This completely flips the global power equation. For the first time in history, a small state, or even a non-state group, a rogue organization, could punch at the same weight class as a superpower.
That is a terrifying thought. It democratizes mass destruction.
It does. And it removes the visual signature of war. If a country launches a nuclear missile, everyone knows who did it. There are heat signatures, radar trails, satellite imagery. But a biological agent? There's no launch flash, no mushroom cloud, just sickness.
And that leads to the issue of attribution, right? This plausible deniability.
This is the most destabilizing aspect of the whole concept. Let's say a new aggressive virus starts spreading in a major city. Was it a natural mutation? Did it jump from an animal? Was it a lab leak accident? Or was it an intentional attack?
And proving that could take months or years?
If you can ever prove it at all. And governments are paralyzed by that uncertainty. You can't launch a retaliatory strike if you aren't 100% sure who attacked you.
So, if you can't be blamed, you can't be punished.
Precisely. And if you can't be punished, that deterrence, the very thing that prevented World War III for the last 70 years, evaporates. It creates a perverse incentive for bad actors to use these weapons because they know they can get away with it.
It feels like we're moving into an era of gaslighting warfare. Like, I didn't hit you, you just got sick.
That's a great way to put it. And it gets darker when you look at what these weapons actually do. We tend to think of bioweapons as things designed to kill everyone. But strategic biotech might not aim for mass casualties.
What's the goal then?
Destabilization. Imagine a pathogen designed not to kill but to disable. Something that makes a large percentage of the working age population chronically fatigued or immune compromised for 6 months.
So, you crash the economy.
You crash productivity, you overwhelm the healthcare system until it collapses. You cause social unrest because people are scared and angry. You don't need to conquer a country if you can just break its spine from the inside.
That's almost more effective than bombing a city. It's slow motion destruction.
It is. And the research is moving toward precision. We're seeing discussions about demographic targeting, looking for specific genetic markers or immune system vulnerabilities in certain populations.
I've heard about that. Ethnic bioweapons. Is that actually possible?
It's incredibly difficult and scientifically unreliable right now. But the fact that the research is heading in that direction, toward disrupting specific biology rather than just blowing things up, is what matters. It changes the battlefield.
Speaking of the battlefield, in this scenario, where is the front line?
Everywhere and nowhere. In traditional war, you have soldiers fighting soldiers. There are borders. There are ceasefires. Biotech warfare ignores all of that. It doesn't respect borders.
And it doesn't distinguish between a soldier and a civilian.
In fact, the civilian is the target. The city is the battlefield. The hospital is the front line. It completely shatters the moral framework of warfare. But strategically, that's why it's attractive to aggressors. It applies maximum pressure without necessarily triggering a military invasion.
So, the obvious question here, the one I'm sure everyone listening is screaming at their device right now, is why isn't this banned? Aren't there treaties?
There are. The Biological Weapons Convention exists. On paper, this is all illegal. But remember what we said earlier about dual-use research?
Right, the cancer cure versus the weapon.
How do you regulate that? You can't ban the equipment because hospitals need it. You can't ban the knowledge because we need scientists to cure diseases. Most of this innovation is happening in the private sector, not in military bunkers. It's globalized, open-source science.
So, to stop the weaponization, you'd have to stop medical progress?
Exactly. It's an impossible dilemma. We are currently in a state where regulations simply cannot keep pace with innovation. The tools are getting cheaper and faster every year, and the oversight is struggling to catch up.
That feels bleak. If we can't stop the development and we can't easily detect an attack, where does that leave us? Are we just sitting ducks?
Not necessarily, but it requires a shift in how we think about power. For the last century, power meant having the biggest army. In a biotech age, power means resilience.
Resilience in what sense?
Public health infrastructure, early detection systems. How fast can you sequence a new pathogen? How quickly can you manufacture an mRNA vaccine? How much do your citizens trust your health institutions?
So, a country with a massive army, but a crumbling healthcare system, is actually incredibly vulnerable.
Extremely vulnerable. The strongest nations of the future might not be the most aggressive ones, but the ones that understand biology the best. The ones that can take a hit and bounce back.
It's a shift from defense to immunity.
That's it. National security is becoming synonymous with biological security. If you can't protect your population's biology, your tanks don't matter.
It's a sobering thought. We're used to looking for enemies on a map, but this threat is invisible. It doesn't shock us into action like Pearl Harbor or 9/11.
No. It erodes us quietly. It breaks trust. Trust in the air we breathe, trust in our neighbors, trust in our institutions. That's the real damage.
And that's the silent siege.
The future balance of power won't be decided by who has the most firepower, but by who understands life itself the best.
A heavy thought to end on, but a necessary one. We need to stop looking at the sky for missiles and start looking at the microscopic world we live in.
Absolutely.
That's all for today's deep dive. If this conversation sparked some thoughts or maybe some new fears, let us know. Is there a line where scientific knowledge becomes too dangerous to be open? Or is the risk worth the reward?
It's the question of the century.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Stay safe and stay curious.
Goodbye.